Okay, so here is the fuel pump, the pre-pump. I had to get everything out. I recommend getting the spare wheel out. As you can see, I carry way too much junk in my trunk. Yeah. So now we're gonna get this off. I don't know how far we're gonna get. We're gonna try to get this cover off, run the car, see if we can get a sound out of it. If we don't get a sound out of it, we're gonna take our tester and connect the tester and see if it's getting voltage. That's just to sort of discount the fact that maybe something's wrong with the wiring. And when we're sure that it's not the wiring, then we're gonna move on to maybe taking the pump out. I don't know if we're gonna get that far today, but we're gonna see if we can at least open the thing. So let's do that. Hey, that thing turned out just to be the cover for the 2, 3, 4, 5 pipes going in. You're gonna have to undo this drain hose right here. It's just the 8mm or something, and then the pump is actually back here. So get ready to like move all this lining to the side and try not ripping it. So the next step is going to be to check out and see what we can pretty much do. I think we're going to put our ear to it, start the car, put our ear to it, and see if we can hear the whining. And if we can't, I think we're just going to leave it alone at this point. Okay, the car's started. I don't know, can you guys hear it? Let me know. I'm gonna put the phone flat down right on the pump. I feel like I can hear something, but I'm not sure if it's the pump going or not. Okay, I took the cap off, and I don't know if you can hear it, but I think it actually is working. You can sort of hear it better here when you get closer. Maybe some of these things are really rusted. There isn't much confidence. I hope you can hear it. I'm pointing the mic to the pump, sort of. Okay guys, so here I am trying to get at the pump. I was able to put this screwdriver against one of the ridges and bang it with a hammer and get it loose. I can't really show you because I'm sitting in the trunk, as you can see, it's yeah, trying to do the best I can. I'm gonna get all the hoses off and get that sending unit out. And while I have a battery right here to test whether the hammer almost fell. To test whether the pump actually works when I get it out, I need to know. I think the pump might be okay, but this isn't something I can leave the chance, right? Because it'll leave me stranded. If that pump isn't working, the pump underneath will be working twice as hard, and then that's gonna fail, and I'm gonna have no pump and I'm gonna be stranded. So I wanna see what the pump looks like in there, maybe clean the sock if it hasn't completely disintegrated by now. I probably should replace it. I don't have one on me right now, so I'm gonna stick it in ultrasonic cleaner if I can get at that sock. And if the pump works, we'll put everything back together and we'll call it a day, right? And also we've checked the system, we know that everything works, and we can be sure that this is, well, anything can fail, right? But we'll know that this isn't likely the culprit, right? So that's the point. You know, peace of mind. So I'll be back in a second as soon as I can sort of twist that thing off and get all the hoses off. I used a 7mm to get the main hose loose, and the other ones I used pliers and just a regular Phillips screwdriver. So now all the hoses are loose, and I wanted to make sure that I could unscrew the entire thing before I took all the hoses off completely, because if you can't unscrew that thing, all the work you've been doing is kind of for naught, right? So let's get to it. Okay, getting it out of there was not that difficult, but the old hoses were a pain in the butt. I hung this microfiber over the tank because obviously it's exposed, there's gasoline in there. I don't want that, anything getting in there. It's pretty clean today. It rained a few hours ago, so the dust should be to a minimum. This is the sender unit, so I'm about to take the sock off. Hopefully I'm going to be able to wash the sock, and then I'm going to check whether the damn sending unit actually works. Unfortunately, the way it's made here is I might have to take this grommet out. It's a pain in the butt to actually take this thing home, which I want to do. But I might just test it here. We'll see what happens first, okay? So let's mess around with this thing and see if it works. Okay, so I just tested the pump. It does work. This is the negative, right? And you got the positive over here. It's hard to do it with a cell phone in hand, but we're gonna try. That's the negative, that's the positive. You can hear it works. Okay, so kind of only one thing left to do is to try to start the car and leave the phone here and see whether it powers up the pump. But of course, first we have to plug it in. You guys are gonna help me out now. I'm gonna put the camera next to the pump and go try to start the car. Okay, did you guys hear it? The car started just fine and ran for a bit. Obviously there's still fuel in the system, so that's not a problem. But if you try to drive, hopefully the car will stop because I don't know where it's getting gasoline from. Okay, so the pump works, but we have the sock, right, that's sort of dirty. We're gonna see if we can clean it, ultrasonic cleaner, just for the heck of it, before we install it. Might as well be clean, right? And then we're going to see if any dirt comes off of it. I know, fuel is a really good cleaner and solvent, right? But maybe there's some particles that get caught up on it, so. Okay, after a lot of hassle, I put it back together. Some tips. Okay, so when you put in the gasket, put in the bottom of the gasket first, and then the top will have trouble squeezing in. I use a screwdriver to force the edges of the gasket in until you get the thing, the pump, the assembly unit to sit perfectly inside. You won't be able to. It has to be completely flat, and then once you've done that, you can turn. Obviously, make sure that you have. I had to replace that clamp, the shiny one that you see, because that one was completely rusted out. So. And that one was it was sort of rusted. I just painted it with a special Rust-Oleum rust paint. Hopefully that'll hold for many years to come. It's not that important. There was a little bit of damage on the hose there, but it wasn't all the way through, so I just painted that. I just used crazy glue, Bond Q with a little powder to make sure that it's covered. And I put the clamp lower so that it doesn't interfere with that area. Everything is seated. So yeah, it's a bit of a hassle to get the assembly unit gasket. It's like a rubber gasket in. I treated mine with a special this conditioner, Slata rubber seal conditioner. It was in really good shape. Plus, I just treated it with that so it would maintain its life longer. And then I seated it and I turned this thing. Obviously, you can try to tighten the crap out of this thing if you want. It'll make sure that everything is tight, right? And everything sort of looks good. Obviously, I'm going to start the car up and run it for a little bit before I put everything together, just to make sure everything is working like when we started. Other than that, the pump works. I cleaned the sock, put the sock back on, so there's no real reason now why things sort of can't. We have a peace of mind for that one. And in the next video, I'm going to change the main pump, the pump under the driver's seat. I'm going to change the filter for it. I have a filter. It's just sort of hard to get to because it's under the car. But that's next on my list. Okay, thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, please, subscribe and comment.
It really helps me out. It's the only reason why I keep making videos. So, see you next time.